Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Nicole Gitsky. Well, as the counting continues, so does the controversy surrounding the election. Supporters from both campaigns taking to the streets across the country, marches demanding answers and results. Jay Gray is there this afternoon at the White House with a closer look at the process as it continues to slowly unfold right now.
With counting and the courts now framing this election, officials in states still too close to call are urging patience.
We're trying to make sure that every ballot is counted.
But with the race for the White House slowing to a crawl,
Every vote counts.
Frustration is building on both sides of the ballot.
Unless the people stand up and make it clear that every vote has to count, the election will be stolen.
Without providing any evidence, online President Trump continues to allege fraud and cheating in several states, Twitter flagging at least one of the posts as disputed and possibly misleading. The president also ramping up fundraising efforts, texting and emailing supporters money the campaign will apparently use for ongoing legal challenges. In a written statement, the Biden campaign calls the litigation and recount strategy pathetic. The former vice president telling supporters he's confident as the process slowly unfolds.
We're winning enough states to reach 270 electoral votes needed to win the presidency. I'm not here to declare that we've won, but I am here to report when the count is finished, we believe we will be the winners.
Though it's still not exactly clear when that count will be finished. In fact, election officials in some states say they won't have the complete results until maybe sometime next week. Jay Gray, NBC News, the White House.
And the Tulare County Police Department is searching for a homicide suspect who may have traveled through the Bakersfield area. 23-year-old Alicia Adriana Espinoza is accused in the death of 55-year-old John Albers. Espinoza has ties to Tulare, Visalia, Las Vegas, and Henderson, Nevada. Espinoza's hair color is unknown because she has been known to change it frequently and sometimes wear wigs. And police are investigating a shooting at Martin Luther King Park that injures one. According to Kern County Sheriff's Office, around 6:30 last night, officers were called to the area of MLK Park. KCSO says there was evidence of a shooting, but no victims were found at that time. Later on, a man suffering from a gunshot wound arrived at a Delano hospital. The hospital contacted KCSO, notifying them of that man. KCSO says they are related. At this time, there is no suspect information. And police are looking for two men accused of attempting to steal hemp from a hemp farm in Shafter. Kern County Sheriff's Office says they got the call around 6:40 this morning about three people trying to steal hemp in the area of Poplar Avenue and Burbank Street. According to KCSO, the local farmer saw the men chopping down the hemp plants. The men fled and a search began. With the help of an air chopper and California Highway Patrol, they located one of those suspects. The other two have not yet been located. Police say they chopped down around $6,000 worth of hemp. And a man is dead following a crash in South Bakersfield. It happened last night just before 11:15 near the intersection of Hosking Avenue and Hughes Lane. Investigators believe 72-year-old Eliza Samaripas was driving on Hosking Avenue and turned in front of another driver. BPD says the woman driving the other car and her male passenger were hospitalized with minor injuries. Police do not think drugs or alcohol were factors in this crash. Anyone with information is asked to contact them at 327-7111. And new information on the 10-year-old child that died after a crash on Highway 99. It happened October 28th. The California Highway Patrol says a car collided with two big rigs traveling southbound just north of Rosedale Highway. CHP says traffic was stopped in the outside lane. 33-year-old Misak Anjam was driving a big rig, which was stopped with 36-year-old Adriana Tinoco behind him in a Honda Civic. A second big rig driven by 44-year-old Romero Sanchez crashed into the back of Tinoco's car, pushing it into the rear of Anjam's truck. Both Tinoco and 10-year-old Francisco Reyes Ortiz, the passenger, were hospitalized with major injuries. CHP says hours later they learned Reyes Ortiz had died from blunt injuries. Anjam and Sanchez were both not injured. CHP says the crash appears to be an accident. Anyone with information is asked to contact CHP at 396-6600. And a man is behind bars after attempting to hit pedestrians and other motorists while driving. Bakersfield police got multiple calls at 7:30 this morning about a driver attempting to hit other motorists on Weibel Road near Wilson Road. Police say they located the black Mercedes, which failed to stop and led officers on a pursuit. And during that chase, the Mercedes hit a BPD vehicle. No one was hurt. The man was eventually taken into custody in the area of Sunshine Avenue. BPD says it's not known if drugs or alcohol were involved. And local radio host personality Inga Barks has died. Now, Barks is known for her work as a radio talk show host at KNZR. Friends and family posted messages of support and remembrance on Barks' Facebook page yesterday. Well, the election has been taking center stage this week. The coronavirus pandemic has definitely not loosened its grip. In fact, it's getting worse, setting a stunning new record. Experts say it was just a matter of time before the U.S. shattered a daunting milestone, more than 100,000 infections in a single day. The virus has taken no breaks from politics. MCL's Miguel Almaguer reports.
As the focus on battleground states intensifies, one of the election's essential issues is tightening its grip, a deadly coronavirus surge being met with dire warnings.
For us, this is the highest volumes that we've seen throughout this pandemic.
For the first time, the U.S. surpassing 100,000 new COVID cases in a single day. According to the Washington Post, 17 states reporting record numbers of hospitalizations. Among them, swing states like Iowa, Ohio, and Minnesota, where millions turned out to vote in person. But the spread of the virus at polling places was not a major concern, say experts. On Wednesday in El Paso, Texas, a record 3,100 new infections. Hospitals there now at or near capacity. Doctors and nurses working around the clock to stop the spread.
We cannot afford to lose any more lives.
In Indiana, 20-year-old college student Bethany Nesbitt died in her dorm room of a pulmonary embolism after testing positive for the virus. The coroner citing COVID-19 as a contributing factor in her death. In a statement, Nesbitt's family writing in part, "This loss is forever. We plead with you to take this virus seriously."
It is a pain that I can't even begin to describe.
Jennifer Seidlich-Padana lost her parents to the coronavirus in April. They were married for nearly 50 years and died within days of each other.
I never thought that, these holidays that are coming up, that I would be spending them without my parents.
That statement shared by many around the world as a second wave of infection sweeps through Europe. Italy, Greece, and England are among countries issuing partial or total lockdowns again. Restaurants, gyms, and non-essential shops in England are now closed for 4 weeks, measures that experts hope will help the region grapple with the latest outbreak.
The head of the CDC, Dr. Robert Redfield, tweeting that it's time to develop a testing strategy to help identify asymptomatic COVID-19 infections, something he referred to as a silent epidemic. And now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic here in Kern County. Numbers are again rising. Public Health reports 2 new COVID-19 deaths and 194 new cases today. Daily cases over a 7-day average in Kern County are up from a couple weeks ago. Nearly 35,000 people have been infected with the virus since the pandemic began. More than 9,000 people have an active case and are recovering at home, and there are 46 people in the hospital. That's 8 more than it was reported yesterday. 428 people have died from COVID-19 since March. Kern County will remain in the red tier for at least another week. And Kern County remains in the red tier for the 4th straight week. That means fewer restrictions for everyone, but we could be doing even better. Kern Public Health released some numbers on how we're doing compared to the state's benchmarks. That adjusted case rate is just over 6 every 100,000 people. The positivity rate is just over 4%, And the health equity quartile, the measurement of preventing COVID-19 in Kern's most disadvantaged communities. The positivity rate is 5.4%, down from last Tuesday. If the case rate and health equity quartile decrease, Kern could move into the orange tier, loosening even more restrictions. If they get worse, it's back to the purple tier. And once again, there's going to be a free test site right outside of KGET studios. We've teamed up with Public Health and the Latino COVID-19 Task Force with help from the Kern Community College District so people can be tested. Now, you can come by tomorrow anytime from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Go to kget.com to schedule an appointment. So far, over 1,200 people have been tested right outside of our studio.
I'm Kevin Shred, yes, at home this afternoon, looking outside, and it is just a great start to the afternoon. One thing you notice, we've got a little bit of cloud cover out there. We talked about that on sunrise, that we would see some of these clouds push in throughout the afternoon. We're starting to see that, and again, this will continue as we go throughout the day. 72 degrees on the temperature right now, a light wind out of the south-southwest at 3 miles per hour. Here's a look at the numbers today. 81 in Sacramento, 79 in Fresno. A warm day down to the south because we still have ridging over California, and that's going to keep temperatures up a little bit. We are expecting some wind gusts right around 30 to 35 miles per hour. That's what some of the models are suggesting here in the valley. Want to talk about futurecast and the rain, and here it comes as we head into late Friday into Saturday afternoon, and then on Sunday we're going to get a little break, a little lull in the action because it's a two system. And the secondary part of this will roll in on Sunday into Sunday evening. That's when we expect snow levels to drop a little bit around the state and Kern County. I'm not looking at any cumulative amounts of snow for the mountains. Right now, models putting in around 0.3 of an inch in Bakersfield. Cross our fingers. I would love to see that. We need it. And then for the mountains, right around 1/4 of an inch, 0.15 of an inch out in Ridgecrest. As we take a look at when we saw the last real measurable rain, that was November 20th when we picked up 0.3 of an inch. Now let's talk about the snow. And the air is going to pick up between 4 and 6 inches for the Kern County area, Fraser Park, Tehachapi. Not expecting any cumulative amounts. Here's a look at our forecast for today. 70s all around under mostly cloudy skies now. For the mountains, mostly cloudy. We're looking at 70s. And then for the Kern River Valley, 80s. And then into the Kern River Valley, we're looking mostly cloudy, 83 in Mojave. Here's a look at that very busy forecast heading into late Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But then by Monday, we will be clearing things out, but temperatures really fall back into the 50s. For the mountains, you can see we go from 70s today, 40s for Saturday and Sunday, with the snow level dropping to about 4,300 feet. And then for the Kern River Valley, it will be our best bet to see measurable rain and higher elevation soon. So a very busy weekend is straight ahead for Kern County. Nicole, back over to you.
In your 17 Business Watch, first-time claims for unemployment move lower but remain well above pre-pandemic levels. The Labor Department reports that 751,000 workers filed for benefits last week. That's about 7,000 fewer claims than the week previous. This was the third straight week below 800,000, and the fourth week moving average fell to 787,000. The number of claims has been sliding since the March peak of 6.9 million, but is still holding well above pre-pandemic high of 695,000 set in October of 1982. Continuing claims, or the number of people filing claims for 2 weeks or more, has dropped to 538,000. The highly anticipated Starbucks collectible holiday cup arrives in stores tomorrow. Starbucks is giving a collectible red cup to customers who order a handcrafted holiday beverage on November 6th at participating Starbucks stores across the country. The limited edition cup is available for orders picked up in stores or through Starbucks Delivers while supplies last. Holiday favorites are back, including the peppermint mocha, which returns for its 18th year.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.